So one of the last things I said about this cocktail on Tuesday's video was that I wanted to, when it came to this video, I wanted to add, just to test the sweetness out, I wanted to add just a touch more sugar, because I was led to believe that actually it's the sweetness that's really affecting this cocktail. This is Dons Own Grog. You can see how I made it in Tuesday's video, but the whole point of this video is that we're going to deconstruct it, dissect it and see, did I use the right rums? Is the sweetness level, right, and all that. So to start off with, what I've done is I've added 10 ml of brown sugar, extra sugar. So to round that up, so in this cocktail, we're now up to 17.5 ml of brown demerara sugar, I should say. And it's still not made it kind of wow for me. So I do firmly believe it's the rums that I use. Now, you could argue, or I'm going to argue, that actually the two 15 ml blends in this, so it's the lightly blended, so category 2 and category 5 in this, so lightly blended aged and black blended aged, aren't going to make that much difference. It's perhaps the 30 ml of the blended rum, category 3, that makes the big difference of this. But I'm going to try this. I'm going to remove the skipper from this as my black blended. I don't really think the lightly blended category 2 is going to make that much difference. I think it's, in large, it's the category 3 blended aged rums and maybe the category 5. But let's have a little, play about. But for the rums I used, I can guarantee that adding a little bit of extra sugar doesn't really help it. So the two sort of, just to swap this up, the two lightly blended category 2 rums that I would probably kind of go for, and I've made a list here of what else I could do. Eldorado 3, Boutique Rum Company signature number 1, which is Jamaica and Martinique, signature blend number 2, which is Jamaica and Guyana. Not overly convinced they're going to help this. So naturally, the two that I'll go, and I completely forgot, that's Bottle Killed, the Plantation. That would be the one that I would obviously go for. So actually, what I probably want is the Dawleys. Now, the only problem with this is the 47%, sorry. And it's the one that I prefer the 47% over the 40%. It's, both of them are great rums. They really are. Totally different to the Plantation 3 stars. More fruitier, more tropical notes to it. Yeah, so I would go this. So now I've got it. You can see it's sort of iced up there. I've got a blend, and these are going to be half measures for this. So I'm going to bring this down to 7.5 ml of the Dawleys 3-year-old, essentially, there. Now, my head is thinking perhaps that skipper was a bit too rich. So perhaps the rum, and this is thinking with the US guys in mind, because I wouldn't call this a black blended rum. I would probably go more pusses in the UK, but I know what Martin Cate's done in Smugglers Cove, and this for you guys in the US is pretty much your black blended rum, because it's a damn sight cheaper than what we get over here in the UK. So I'm going to go with this, the Eldorado 12-year-old. And again, this was 15 ml. So again, half measures, 7.5 ml in there. Now, I do firmly believe that it was the Chairman's Reserve Legacy that was a bit too pungent. So category 3, I've made a list here, category 3. The other stuff I've got is Appleton 8, Plantation Barbados, Mount Gay Black Barrel. They're the kind of 3 big ones that I'm kind of going to focus this around. So the first one I want to do is, I could actually use that, to be fair. I'm not sure how this video is going to come out. I'm not going to use that because at the time of shooting, that's not come out, but I think it might have come out by the time the video drops. So I'm actually going to do Appleton Estate, the 8-year-old, because I think this is more mellow than the Chairman's Reserve in there. So I'm going to do 15 ml. Just want to emphasize the point, these are half. I know what's going on. I've done this so many times. I know my kind of half sort of size measures, if you like. So that should, and just a tiny bit more, there we go. That should, with a little bit more crushed ice, be within reason, as close to, as near as damn it, to the ratios of that cocktail. All right. So let's have a little sample of this. We've swapped up the, I'll put it away now, haven't we? I've swapped up the Chairman's Legacy for the Appleton 8. I've swapped up the Skipper for the Eldorado 12, and I've swapped out the Chairman's Reserve White for the Plantation 3, Dawley's 3-year-old. So, without that extra sugar, bearing in mind there's extra sugar in that, I automatically already prefer that. That is a totally different concept. Now, I can taste it straight away. It's the Chairman's Reserve Legacy. This cocktail doesn't need that rich oomph. And let's be honest, that is a black blended rum is still going to give you a richer oomph than what the Eldorado 12-year-old does. Still got a little bit of Chairman's Reserve here, so let's kind of just do this same vibe here. So 7.5 ml Chairman's White with the Eldorado 12-year-old and a Jamaican. Let's see if the white, you know, the lightly blended makes that much of a difference. I don't think it does. 15 mil. I really don't think it does in this. I think it's the sort of, what's the word? The richness of the other rums that I've used in there. Ooh, that's interesting. There isn't that much difference. In the grand scheme of things, and I'm not claiming to have a super palate. I'm not claiming that I would be able to tell the difference if I was out. But they do taste different. That one tastes slightly fruitier. On another day, do you know, it's only, and perhaps it's my head. Perhaps it's my head because I know exactly what's kind of gone in there. But I do think I'm preferring the Dawleys in that. Even though there's extra ABV, 47% versus 43%, you do get more tropical fruit vibes off that. Not, you know, not huge amounts, but more than that. I generally wasn't expecting that, to be honest. So now what I can surmise from that is that actually the Plantation probably wouldn't be as good. The Plantation 3 stars probably wouldn't be as good as the Dawleys. Now I really like that because the richness has been dialed back. That's too rich, too robust. Too much oomph. It's the only way I can describe it. Too much, it's just too much richness. So at the moment, I'm just trying to work out what other black blended rums. Pusses, like I would naturally kind of think like Pusses, but I think Pusses is going to go down the Skipper route and kind of give it too much. So I'm kind of sort of sitting there. The only other thing I could do is the Eldorado 8-year-old if I've got enough, and I have. I could potentially do the Eldorado 8. I could swap that in there. Right, let's do that. Let's do that. So let's go back. Again, would you call, you know, if we're being true to the recipe, the original, the OG recipe, black blended rum, would you call that a black blended rum? I wouldn't, but the Eldorado 12 works so well in this. So this is a simple swap from Eldorado 12 down to Eldorado 8. 12. Wow. That's giving it to, oh, what's going on there? There is a heavier chocolate vibe and a heavier coffee vibe. That's really fascinating. You're mad. I love these dissections. Absolutely loving the Dawleys dissections. They're brilliant. The Appleton, the Eldorado 8's got to go. So, at the moment, that is my kind of, you know, all-star blend. Now I don't know. I've got some other rums listed here, and I'm not sure which way to go because I've got Plantation Barbados. I've got Mount Gay Black Barrel listed to go from there. I think that would be a great way to go. Let's just do that. I've got a new bottle of, he says, Plantation Barbados somewhere. Is it that one? Yeah, so I've got a new bottle of plantation Barbados there. Right, let's do this. So we're getting rid of the Appleton 8 this time. I'm preferring the plantation. It's mellower. It allows the blackberry to come through. It is fruitier. It's softer. It just balances better. It's a cocktail. There. Now, there's something coming. So we've got Barbados, we've got Guyana. There's something, obviously, there's a natural thing. I haven't even got the notes here for this, but there's a natural thing coming now. It's because, can we do that with one rum? Can we do that cocktail, Dons Own Grog, with one rum? Jamaica, Barbados, Guyana. Oh, this is close now. I'm preferring that one, but that is hands down better than that. The black tart is a one rum blend. I think I'm preferring this one, which is those three: Eldorado, Dawley's, Plantation. Oh, that's fascinating. Now, I think I'm going to leave that cocktail dissection there because I genuinely don't know what other routes to go down for this cocktail. Something else might come out. I might get one of the wrong colons out here to kind of think, but I don't think any of those flavour profiles fit this either. This has been fascinating. Even though I've only done, what, 5, maybe, yeah, 1, 2, yeah, 5 different sort of variations. It's very quick and easy to narrow this down. Now, I appreciate everyone's got a different palate. I get it. I totally get it. But the rums I used on Tuesday's video, Chairman's Reserve White, Chairman's Reserve Legacy in there, with the skipper, made that too rich and too robust. It was just it was a heavy cocktail. I'll tell you what, as there's some stuff here, this is going to be fascinating actually. I wanted to go down the spiced rum route. I'm intrigued by this now. So one spiced rum, because we all know if you're going to do a spiced rum cocktail, especially in the UK, you are going to use one rum. And just for the flavours that come out, of all the spiced rums I've got down here, yes, you could maybe do a plantation pineapple. You maybe could do cane rock. You maybe could do all the spiced rums with cinnamon, with ginger, vanilla and all that. I'm looking at my spiced rum shelf and nothing jumps out at me as much as what this does. Oh, that's interesting. I do really like the lighter vibe of that. It's different. I still prefer, if I'm being honest, I prefer that. Eldorado 12, Dawley's 3-year-old 47%, and the Plantation Barbados 5-year-old. Swap that out for the Appleton 8-year-old, and you've got a pretty decent rum blend as well. This cocktail definitely doesn't suit rich, flavour-forward rums. So if you've made the Dons Own Grog, let me know in the comments, what is your rum choices? Because I'm really interested. Now, this week's Daiquiri of the Week comes from Becky. Hello, Becky. I haven't told you this one's coming, but I know you watch. Becky, we chat a little bit on Instagram, and her other half, Andrew. They are in South Wales. Now, Becky bought this rum for Andrew, and he wasn't overly impressed by it. I think Andrew, I'm guessing, is a little bit of a kind of more of the whiskey lover, more of that, likes those longer aged rums. But Becky fell in love with this daiquiri. Andrew made her this daiquiri, and she fell in love with it. So she kind of messaged me and said, "Steve, try it. I know you you like the rum. Try it as a daiquiri." So we've got a lime juice and we've got a sugar. We are going for rum JM, the Jardin Fruité, which is kind of like mango bombs and stuff. I haven't actually revisited this in a few weeks, to be fair. I don't know. I think Andrew kind of likes, as I say, like longer aged, but yeah, it is just a fruit bomb. Oh my God, mango. Is mango, it is fruit, it is maybe sort of papayas on there. It is an absolute fruit bomb. I adore this. This is a great rum. but still the heat. It's not fruity like Plantation Stiggins Fancy. Brand new bottle there, ready to go. It's not fruity like that. It's like a rum forward, but with that subtle hint of fruity aroma behind it. So, I'm going to do 50 ml because I've done a 5 to 1.5 for this. Now she said, Becky sort of said she adores this, is how she drinks it. Sometimes she lengthens it out with a little bit of soda water, like a rum Collins, if you like. But, you know, it's a daiquiri. It's a party starter evening. That's how this plays out. So, rum, lime, sugar, power shake. I really apologise. That's out already. I forgot to put that in the fridge. Yeah, on the freezer, sorry. So, there we go. Love these. Bath, look, I'm gonna get a little bit pretentious here for a second, but barfly shakers, because they are a little bit thicker, the stainless steel that they use is just a little bit of a higher grade. Look at that. It conducts heat better, which means heat cold, temperature better, if you like. So, you know, you can see already, look at the frostiness of that. You don't get that with like the cheaper cocktail shakers. This is properly ice cold. And even that like 1 degree, half a degree makes such a difference with cocktails. Pretentious barman gone now. Right, let's see how this goes. I've got big hopes for this. I won't lie. I'm kind of all over this. I don't think I've had it as a daiquiri. I might have done. Probably had it as a tea punch. Right, Jardin fruit daiquiri. Becky, I hate that. Nah, not. Oh, no, that's wrong. Delicious. Oh, the lime and the sugar brings out that. Column still rum, which I absolutely love. It's not a white unaged rum. It's got a bit of age to it. There's a tiny bit of aging on this. Of course there is. So it's not like, it's not, you know, it's not in my all-star daiquiris because I just like light unaged rums. And this has obviously got a bit of barrel aging to it, but so my 4 things: light, clean, crisp, bright. Light ish, clean, yes. Crisp, yes. Bright, ooh, close. Oh, that's really good. That is a subtle fruity daiquiri without it being over-egged, if you know what I mean. It's never going to be an all-star because it's not white rum. It's just something about white unaged rum daiquiris for me. But that is pretty damn close. Bex, let's do this. Cheers. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'd actually have that again. Right, let's finish off this week's rum show with Ron Izalco. I have problems saying that as well. Izalco. Ron Izalco. Just when I think about it, I can't say it. Now, again, massive thank you to Barry for A, coming on the show, B, sending me these rums through. As I say, I've known Barry through a different rum brand as well. These rums, now, you're thinking I'm going to have a Debbie Downer about these rums. I'm not. It's going to be a hard one to sum up. I really like them. They are my kind of fruity style of rums. They've got a lot of, yes, there's a lot of barrel aging in there, which, you know, you can't skirt around. There's plenty of wood influence, there's plenty of caramel, there's plenty of toffee influence, but the fruit does punch out on top of that. And I like that in a rum. I really do. My issue with these rums, it's not an issue. It's not like I'm going to hate on these. But my issue with these rums is that they are potentially too aged for me. But I'm trying to put my head or my mindset in those of you that come from whiskey territory, that love your, love your neat sipping rums. And yes, these are great rum. Look, Barry, I'm being brutally honest. I have to be brutally honest here. I am. I'm not saying these are bad rums. Far from it. I'm just trying to explain it in language that I can get across. Look, I think if you are right, let's put it like this: if you are in the Foursquare camp, if you are Appleton 12, Appleton 15, El Dorado, if you're in that camp, then I don't think you're going to appreciate these, because even though they are a healthy aged rums, they've potentially got a bit too much fruit on them. And this is where my head is torn. It's not because I don't like them. I'm just trying to place them in a category. They are quite fruit forward. And I have to distinguish this. Don't mistake these for flavoured rums. Like the obvious one is sitting right here. Like not even remotely close. It's like chalk and cheese. Rum, flavoured rum. It's as simple as that. Pineapple forward, rum. It is as simple as that. However, when you taste that, it's a lot of fruit on it, which I personally like. I really do. It just sings at me. It's like apricot, stone fruit. It's like fresh. It is that sort of fruity vibe. Peaches, apricots. That's massive. It's smacking me round the face right now. It is a delicious rum. I really like that Ron Izalco 10. The Ron Izalco 10-year-old. Really like that. Delicious. 43%, 86 proof. It is a delicious rum. I would quite happily sip that. I'm always just trying to put my head in my mindset in the average person though, because it's more fruitier than what you're used to. I'm not saying it's sweeter. I don't think it's actually sweeter. There is a touch of sweetness to it, but it ain't that much. I just don't think it's what it's used to. You are used to sort of plain barrel-aged, your heavy bourbon notes, your heavy oak notes, your heavy wood notes coming over from whiskey. That's what you're used to. This is going to you're going to be confused. As much as I'm confused about this, of how to talk about it, you're going to be confused about it as drinking it. That's how I'm going to sum it up. I like that 10-year-old. I really do. I think it's got a bit too much on it, a bit too much feistiness, a bit too much oomph to kind of put it in that entry level, that Bacardi 8, Bacardi 10. It's got a bit too much character on it. It's a bit too much rounded. It's a bit too much proper. I've been trying to work out how to say that properly. It's a bit too much like a proper fruity rum than what you may be potentially used to. Make no mistake about it. I love and adore that, and that is going to be a great, neat sipping rum for me. I'm going to have no qualms in demolishing that bottle. Absolutely no qualms. But you have to get your mindset into my palate. I like lighter column still rums. I love fruit. I love fruitier notes on it. And this is my kind of fruit compared to the English style, the Barbados, the Guyana, the Jamaica, those sort of fruit. This is like column still, lighter, tropical, really abundant tropical notes. And I'm just intrigued. I'm just really, really intrigued to see how the 5% take to it. I've got no qualms at all that the 95% would love it. And I have to caveat this as well. You know, if you're coming from Plantation XO, if you're coming from, oh, what else have we got? Neat sippers behind here. Havana 7-year-old. If you're coming from that territory, I still think it's got a bit too much on it for you. I really do. I think it's a classy rum. The price point speaks for itself. I think it was up at the £50 mark, so $60 US, 60 euros. I'm loving that. I'm enjoying that. I'm having that as a neat sipper. I don't think it's a cocktail rum. I'm enjoying that as a neat sipper. That is potentially everything I want from a neat sipping rum. And without going overboard, that's now the rum that I think of, that I think in the evenings, oh, I'm just having a glass of that. It's light, it's clean, it's crisp, it's got the column still vibes that I love. You know, and I need to get that across to you. I'm not about reviewing, I'm about trying to sort of guide you through my palate. My palate is light, clean, crisp, you know, column still, that is my palate. So if you are inherently pot still, it's a tough one. It is tough. It is really tough. And I can't wait to see other people's opinions of this. It's got the feistiness, 43%? 43% ABV. It's got the feistiness. It's not sweet. It's not diplomatico. It's not bamboo. It's nowhere even remotely close to being that. It is, I'm just going to say, I love it. I love that as a neat sipping rum. I'm not overly convinced I would love that as a cocktail rum, but it's a neat sipping rum that really does play in my playground. Big fan of that. Just to read you the back of the bottle, because I didn't do that on, I'm not sure when this came out, but featuring a dark amber colour with rich copper hues, Ron Izalco first awakens your senses with fruity aroma, reminiscent of apricots, prunes, honey caramel, freshly squeezed cane juice, and jaggery. On the palate, it opens up smooth and mellow, slowly unfolding the complex body of rum, congeners, funk, esters, flavour compounds. It opened up slowly unfolding complex body of rum congeners with undertones of American oak, toasted nuts, sweet pipe tobacco. The finish is long, satisfying, enhanced with patiently oxidized tannins that combines perfectly with rich flavors of rum, resulting in a rewarding sipping experience that begs to be repeated over and over again. Product of the USA, you are getting this. Could I disagree with anything on there? No, not really. In my market, the people that I aim my channels at, I potentially think that the people, let's dumb this right down. The people I really aim this channel at, not the 5%. I know the 5% watch me and get me, and there's quite a few that sort of are there for the journey. I get it. I love it. I think this is like the top end of the the top end of the 95%. This is like a crossover from the 95% to the 5%. Basically, what I'm saying is it's got a bit too much on it for your Appleton 8s, for your Bacardi 8s, for your Havana 7-year-olds, for your Diplomaticos. But if you're up for that, and if you like your fruity rums, this is flipping tasty. And I know I'm labouring, and I know I'm struggling, but it's not because I've had a few rums. I have had a few rums. But I generally, even when I was tasting this and Barry was on, I generally didn't know how to pitch it. Now, we get onto the Ron Izalco 15. Now, I'll be brutally honest, this Ron Izalco, this 15 is way, way, way too much for me. I need to revisit it, but it is like that times 10. Fruity notes on it, but burnt, aged fruity notes to it. You know, it is still there. It is nectarines, it is peaches, it is mangoes, it is stone fruit. Not so much dried fruit. It is all there, and it makes me want to sip it. However, sipping, as nice as that is, that's a special treat run for me. 15-year-old, 55.3, Jesus, 110.6 proof. It's every bit of those. I see this is what I'm struggling to convey as well, because 63% ABV, I've got no problems chomping that. That's delicious. Give me another one, session run. I flipping love that. Outliers, ignore the hurricane. It's actually called Hooligan. They don't know what they're talking about. Rick, Ian. 64% ABV. I love that. Neat sipping. Oh, body, volume. Oh, it's just great. Give me another one. 64%, 63%. Kits, ninefold. This is 59.6. I'm totally having another one of those. It's a delicious rum. Delicious. So it's not the ABV. I don't know how to kind of convey it any better. It's like, this is 55%, 110 points. What is it? 110.6 proof. Jesus, this is like testing your palate, your senses, your everything. It's like fruit, it's like caramel, it's like toffee, it's going off in biscuity vibes, it's going off on grassy vibes. It's that, and just when you think it's a sweeter, fruitier rum, you sip it and you're like, holy hell, it's strong, it's aged, it's wood, it's bourbon, it's oak. And I'm not doing this any disservice at all, other than to say it is too much on it for me. It is like, this bottle is going to slowly go down, but this to me is my special occasion bottle. This to me is my once every 2 or 3 months, I want a lovely, fruity, robust rum. I want something I'm just going to sit down with. I'm going to go, yeah, that is exactly what that is. Would I buy a bottle of that? I don't know. I generally don't know. But at the moment, it's like a once special occasion, every 2 or 3 month rum. I would much rather grab that than, personally speaking, Dawley's 12, Dawley's 14, Eldorado 15, Appleton 15, Appleton 20. I would much rather grab that, but that still for me is a bit too much, because if I want a neat sipping with a bit of oomph and a bit of fruit in the flavour, I'm still going there.